These Nuts Garage, and today what we're going to be doing is replacing the rear shocks on this 2018 Ford Edge Sport. Like I said in the intro, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be replacing both rear shocks on this 2018 Ford Edge Sport. Now, the other day I was coming out of Nashville, Tennessee, and I hit a pothole, and I could definitely tell that right after I hit that pothole that this shock had blown out. This side started kind of being weak in the rear end, and when you'd hit another bump, you could just hear it kind of make a dead sound when you'd hit a bump, you know, boom. So didn't used to do that. So I assumed that it was this side because that's just how it felt, and I was correct because I've already replaced the rear shock on this side, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to get underneath your car and take a look at your shock and tell if it's bad or not. Now, what I'm going to do is when we go to the other side, I'm going to show you how quick you can change this rear shock. They're not difficult, they're very easy to do, and it's something that you can do at home to save you quite a bit of money. I'd imagine $200 or $300 easy. So let's jump over here and I'll show you the part that we're going to be using, and then we're going to jump on this and see how fast we can actually replace this shock. Alrighty, so I got my spotlight on over here, and here in a minute we'll lower this camera down so you can see what I'm doing. Now you won't be able to see everything because I don't have a cameraman and I can't, you know, try to get you in there as best I can. It's not that hard, but I'm going to show you the part we're going to be using today. And today it's a Duralast. Now you can pick your own parts from wherever you want to. A little secret about these parts, and here's the part number right there, if you can see it in the camera. Looks like TS5440092B. Once again, Duralast shock. This did come from Autozone, but another reason why I buy Autozone stuff is because usually I can save about 20% on the order. If you go online at Autozone.com and you order your stuff from Autozone, they usually have like a promo code. And with that promo code, what you can do is you enter it in at the end and you get 20% off. Now these shocks, I think, were $132 a piece. That made it like $260 plus tax, you know, whatever. I think it brought it down with your 20% about $222 for the pair to be able to put them on. And then I buy so much stuff from AutoZone, I also part of that rewards program. So I had like 40 bucks on my rewards program. So then I applied to that. So when it all come out said and done, I think I paid $170 something like that for both of these shocks. So not too bad. You know, you got to do what you got to do, save some money. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to open it up. There's a few things we need to talk about the shock real quick. When you get your shock, this is how it looks. It doesn't have a dust cover or anything like that. It's got a little nut up here. This is, I think it's got a nylon in it, so it's a locking nut. And then on the bottom of your shock, you're going to have two more little nuts right there. Got two little nuts. And we're going to be reusing these. We're going to be using these nuts with the factory bolts. So we have to reuse all the factory bolts that we're going to be taking out of the car. Now let me get the other shock and I'll show you what a bad shock looks like. I should have already had this shock over here. Now this shock had a dust cover on it, and we're going to be replacing the dust, removing the dust cover from the factory shock and putting it on their new shock. But this is what a bad shock looks like. They usually blow out oil all out of here, and then you'll get all this road grime building up on it like you see here. So it may have been on the way out, and then when I hit that pothole, it just finished her off, you know. So it's just oil everywhere. So that's how you can tell if you crawl underneath your car, shine a spotlight on this thing, and you see all of this oil coming out of this part of the shock, it's bad. I mean, we can probably smush it down, and I'll be surprised if it even comes back up. Yeah, see, it's not moving at all. It may just be completely broke. Probably is. All right. First things we're going to need is a rag. Like I said, we're going to need a rag to wipe my hands off with. All right, so this particular vehicle, we're going to be using an electric impact to remove our lug nuts. These are 21 millimeter lug nuts. Make sure you use the right lug nuts on these. Here comes somebody going to drive by. Oh yeah, the time is 2:28 on my watch. All right, so now when you get in here, let me bring you around on in here. Come on in there. Get on in now. Take a look up here. Now you're gonna see 2 bolts. We're gonna remove those first. And see, also you can tell by looking at this shock how there's not a lot of that gunk on it, all that fluid. And that's because it's not bad. But we're gonna replace both of them because as soon as I replace that one and don't do this one will go bad. This right here is our dust cover. We're going to be moving this over to our new shop. All this hardware here will be reused. I have another smaller impact gun wrench, right? Gun, drill, whatever you want to call it. We're going to just remove these. And these are 18 millimeter. Now you did see this whole suspension kind of drop down, and I also have another jack here. I already had the car jacked up, but I have another jack right here so that way I can push this suspension back up with it. I also have a jack stand over here, so be safe. Wear gloves, eye protection, and ear protection if you need it. So now, looking at our new shop, you see we have these little holes right here. Straight down underneath the rear suspension, we have I think it's a 15 millimeter bolt that we're going to be removing. And like I said, it's under here. It's kind of hard to see. There's 2 of them. Right there. There's going to be another one down here. Now our shock is free. Now I'm going to turn you back over here with me because I need to show you something about this this old shock. So here's our old shock. This is the top part. This is the bottom part. And as you can see, it's kind of got these little nubs on it. That's why we're going to need new nuts, is because the new shocks don't. So probably if you ordered a Ford Motorcraft part, it's probably going to have that on there. All right, first things first, This is a little plastic cover. We're gonna need to pop that off. Just as easy with a screwdriver, just pop it off. It's just a dust cover. Set it to the side. This right here is also a locking nut. It's gonna be a 14 millimeter. No, 15, scratch that, 15 millimeter. This is a ratcheting box wrench. And then on the top, right here, you can see this very top is kind of straight, so you'll need a pair of adjustable pliers. And then we're just gonna kind of, it's kind of easier to do this while you got this on the floor. Put my big foot on it. Like that. Unscrew that just like so. Got this little nut. We do have a new one of these on our new shop right here. So now our little tower piece is going to come off, we'll call it, for lack of a better word. If you live up north in northern states, make sure all this is in good shape. A lot of salt and stuff can eat these up. It's aluminum, but still, I've seen some videos where they were pretty bad. All right, so now we have our dust cover. What you're gonna do is just kind of grab it right here. Just kind of push up, push down. Like that, and it's just gonna slip off. But it's gonna leave this behind. And we gotta reuse this. And right here, we're gonna push it down. Now you see this little nub? That's what we're gonna work about getting off now. I'm gonna turn the camera back down. What I'm gonna do is take a screwdriver and a hammer. We're just gonna kind of put it up like this and just tap on it. Spin it. Tap on it. Spin it, quarter turn. Another half turn. And it's gonna come off. Just like that. With that out of the way, we can slide this piece right off. Like that. So now, we need to put this and our dust cover back on the new shop. So we're gonna do the same thing. Remove our locking nut from the top. Set it to the side. Same thing. Take your hammer and your screwdriver, and ever so easy. Just tap on it a little bit. You ain't gotta get all crazy. Tap, tap, taparoo. Cuckoo, cuckoo. All right, see? Look, and it's already, these are kind of like, I would like to say they're screwed on, but they're not. Maybe they're just such a tight fit. You'll just have to spin it like you was unscrewing it, and it'll slide right off. Now, once that's done, we're going to turn our camera back up. We're going to take our boot, or I guess this is kind of like a, if it bottoms out, we'll call it a bottom out thing. We're going to take our dust cap, slide it back on there. You're just going to kind of push down, wiggle it till it snaps back into place. We're going to take our new, we'll call it that thing. Just going to kind of screw it back on as if it was just screwing on there. Kind of odd. Now, something we could do, you could get you a little, we'll do it just like this. I guess you could get a little socket and put around that, but I'm just gonna put this on there. All I'm trying to do is kind of knock it into place a little bit, because as we tighten this down, that's going to tighten that up. Like I said, you could probably get you a deep well socket and put on that and tap it down a little bit. Let me see if I have one and just see if it'll work. Alright, so I got a deep well socket. I'm gonna do it just like that. Maybe just tap it like that. That's driving that on there. Now we're at dead nuts. So we're good. Now that this is on there, what we can do, we can take this, put that on there. Put our new lock nut on here. Just to get it started. And we're basically going to do the reverse as we did earlier. We're going to tighten this down. And we're going to use this pair of adjustable pliers. We're just going to tighten it down as far as we can tighten it. Now we're going to take this dust cover, just push it up inside there like that. And there we go. Now remember, we have our nuts that are zip tied to the bottom of these. We're just going to take them and sit them to the side. Because there's kind of a trick to do this, to put it back on. We don't want to forget our little dust cover. Put that back on, just like that. All right, so the dust cover's back on. Now what we want to do is what we're going to need is an extension or so, about like this. We're going to take our 15mm socket, put on the end of our extensions. And there's a couple of ways you can do this. You need some Loctite. Since this has blue Loctite on it, that's what we're going to be putting on it. The top had red. I don't have any red on me, I don't think. So we're just going to use some blue. We're just going to kind of run it down up here. Maybe. I'm not real for sure if I have very much of this. I have another one somewhere. What happened to it? Y'all see it? Where it is? I thought y'all might have seen where it went. So we're going to do the same thing. Just putting it here. Like so. And you can either, when you go to put this in, you can just kind of drop these down in there like this. Because what you're going to have to do is come inside. You know, when you're taking this apart, let me move y'all around over here so you can see maybe. You kind of have to drop this in behind it. And these right here are going to be like this upper piece. I'll show you. You're just going to kind of fish them two bolts that you put through here, through the holes down at the bottom. And I know you can't see that, but when you take it apart, watch how you're removing it, and you'll see those two holes that those little bolts will go through. And then we're going to take our new little lock nuts. And I need to run this down, extension down to the top of that bolt. I don't know if I can get you in there maybe. We'll try it. Well, I can't zoom in. Anyway. Right here where my finger's at, pointing at. Well, if I had a light. Anyway, we're just going to start this little nut on that bolt on both sides. Like I said, that's a 15 millimeter. And that's what all this is. We're basically working with 15s and 18s. I'm gonna move back to the other side. Ugga-duggas, as they say. I'm gonna move the camera back just a hair bit more. All right, so now we're back up here up top. You can see this thing is like this. What we're wanting is this side. If you want to, when you take this apart, you could take you a Sharpie and write front on that, put an F, so that way you knew this was what side's facing out. And what we gotta do, it's gonna be kind of hard to see this now that I've done this. Gotta pull this down. Gotta pull it down, come on. All right. Now right up here, we're above these holes, there's 2 pins. There's a pin on each side, 1 and 2. And if you're looking at this part right here, you're gonna see how this comes down to like a little valley right here. Same thing here, a little valley. What we're gonna do is we're gonna push this back in there, and then we're gonna let the shock expand, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna catch those pins in both of these valleys, and what it's gonna do is hold this upper bracket here in the exact spot that it needs to be. So we're just gonna kind of pull it where it needs to go and keep it kind of straight. You're kind of pulling the shock towards the front. As you can see, this shock is rising, and it's gonna go right where it needs to go, pretty much. Gonna put a blue Loctite on it. Look at, you see that kick out on me? Little devil. Little joker. Get this crap on here. Just gonna push it back where it goes. Get one of them kind of started. Get the second one kind of started. Don't be afraid to show it who's boss. You know, you can give it a little love tap if you need to. We're going to put our 18 in. Being easy with this because you don't want to strip it. You know, like that, maybe. Put the big muscle on it. Now, I would imagine these are torqued at somewhere around 75, 80 pounds. If you want to look it up, those aren't going to come out. I got the Loctite on them in that big impact. It's probably got 120 PS foot-pounds on it now. So, but I imagine they're somewhere around in there, about what your lug nuts are. I'd probably say about 75, 85 torque. All right. So that's basically the shocks. What we're gonna do now is throw this tire back on the car and let it down. So let's jump back on this real quick. Clean up my little mess. $249. So in 21 minutes, we replaced this shock, and I wasn't in a hurry to do it. So this is just showing you that maybe, you know, even the person who's got a little bit of mechanical skills, they can replace their shocks and probably save them hundreds of dollars. All right, so that's going to be the end of this video. If the video helped out any, give it a big thumbs up. Now, this job is going to take anywhere between 30 minutes and to an hour. And there's a couple of factors that come into play. For one, is going to be tools that you have, and we'll say condition of your car. Now, this is a 2018. I live down south, so we don't have a lot of corrosion or rust that may cause problems for people that live up north. Now, some of these parts you may need to soak in PB Blaster to help break them loose. Some parts you may even have to replace, like some of these nuts and bolts. So if you live up north, kind of be prepared to easy try to take these bolts out and kind of understand it. Maybe something that you want to pick up before you ever start this project is go to the Ford dealership and get those 4 bolts for the upper part and then the bottom part of the shock. So that way you're prepared when you go to work on it, you have all the parts ready to go. Now, I didn't have to do that because, like I said, I live down south and we don't have those corrosion issues. The other thing is going to be your tools. Now, I have a jack. I used one jack and a jack stand to put underneath the car. Now, I could have used a second jack to kind of push that suspension up to get it back up a little higher, but I didn't have to, so I didn't use the second jack. So you can get away with one jack and one jack stand. Then your car's going to have, if you don't have the correct tools, like as far as to remove the lug nuts, your car does have probably a spare tire and a jack and a lug wrench to remove those lug nuts. So you could technically use the lug wrench that's in your car already to remove your tire. Now, once you get the tire off, you're going to need that 15 millimeter socket and an 18 millimeter socket. You also probably need, and I recommend that you get a 1/2 inch drive ratchet. That's for the big bolts when you're trying to break them loose. You got plenty of leverage to snap those off. And then you can, after that, you could use a 3/8 inch ratchet to get in there and kind of crank them out real fast if you wanted to. But if you're using those 2 different size drives, 1/2 inch and 3/8, you're going to need that reducer socket from a 1/2 inch to a 3/8. So most of that stuff is included in a standard, we'll call it homeowner tool set that you might get at Sears or Home Depot or wherever you get your favorite tools at. So then you're going to need, you know, like I said, the screwdriver, the hammer, the cutting pliers, things like that. But that's going to be the real difference in the time, is the tools and the condition of your car. So just be prepared when you go to work on it. Pretty windy out here today. So that's going to be the end of the video. I'm going to get out of here. And if you see this right back here, that's our new toy. And I'll be doing a video on that. Probably the next video that comes out will be on that right there. And if you don't know what that is, that's a 2023 Ford Bronco Outer Banks. So we've got a lot of mods coming for that. So stick around for that video. And y'all have a blessed day. And like I said, I'll see you in the next video.